So here we go. First things first, axis of symmetry. X equals negative b plus or negative b over 2a. So that means that's going to get me negative 4 over 2. So that gets me negative 2. So my axis of symmetry, x equals negative 2. Then I'm going to plug that back in. So f of negative 2 is going to get me negative 2 all squared plus 4 times negative 2 minus 2. F of negative 2 is going to get me 4 minus 8 minus 2. So that is going to get me, what, negative 6? Okay, so negative 2, negative 6. So my y-intercept, if I plugged in 0, would get me negative 2. So then zeros. So I'm going to plug in 0 here, get x squared plus 4x minus 2. I think I'm going to do, what am I going to do? I'm going to do completing the square. So x squared plus 4x, take 4, divide it in half, and square it. So that's going to get me plus 4. Is that right? Take half of that, yep. So that is going to get me 6 equals x plus 2 all squared. And that's going to be taking the square root of both sides, plus or minus the square root of 6 equals x plus 2. So x is going to equal negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 6. So if I was to put that, so we're going to do negative 2 plus the square root of 6. And that's going to get me approximately 0.4. And if I subtracted instead of adding, I would get approximately negative 4.4. Okay, so if I was to go over here, negative 2, negative 6, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I have 0, negative 2. So, right there. And then it says for my zeros, I have 0.4, so about here, and negative 4.4, so 1, 2, 3, about there. Okay. So there we have it. And that was horrible drawing, but that's it. So then we come over to this one. And I do x equals negative b over 2 times negative 2. So that's going to get me 4 over negative 4, which is negative 1. So x equals negative 1. Then I plug this bad boy back in. Y equals negative 2 times negative 1 squared minus 4 times negative 1 minus 3. Get y equals negative 2 plus 4 minus 3. And that's going to get me negative 1. So the point negative 1, negative 1. And then my y-intercept, 0, comma. Come on. Plug in 0, I get negative 3. And my zeros. So if I put in 0, let's do a different color. 0 equals negative 2x squared minus 4x minus 3. I'm going to divide everything by negative 1 and get 0 equals 2x squared plus 4x plus 3. I'm going to go ahead and do the quadratic formula. So negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 4 squared minus 4ac all over 2a. That'll get me negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 16 minus, is that 24? That was 6, 24. So that'd be over 4. So that means no real solutions. So I come down here and I do -1, -1. Come on. -1, -1. I do 0, -3. Okay. And just to have a couple more points in there, I'm going to go ahead and do, if I plugged in 1, what would I get? So y equals -2 times 1 squared minus 4 times 1 minus 3. Y equals -2 minus 4 minus 3. That will get -6 minus 3, which is -9. So that is the point 1, -9. So if I do 1, I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That would go there. And then we have the symmetry. And then we would have, well, that was horrible. Try that again. There we go. Awesome. So next one. Oh, I don't even have to graph. I just want to know the information. So x squared plus x minus 20 equals 0. So my axis of symmetry is going to be x equals -b over 2a. So x equals -1/2. So then I'm going to plug it in. Plug it in and get -1/2 squared plus -1/2 minus 20 is equal to the y. So I'm going to get 1/4 minus 1/2 minus 20 equals y. So 1/4 plus 2/4 minus 80 over 4 equals y. So that is going to give me, I'm going to come over here, sorry about that. That's going to get me 3 -77 over 4. So -1/2 -77 over 4. My y-intercept is going to be 0, -20. And what are the factors of -20 that would add to 1? That would be 5 and -4. So x plus 5, x minus 4 equals 0. X plus 5 equals 0. X minus 4 equals 0. So x equals -5 and +4. 5, -4. Oh, I do have to graph it. It's over on the other side. So 77 divided by 4, -19, -19.25. Okay, y-intercept. Okay, so I am going to do 5 and -4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then I'm going to do 2's. So -2, -4, -10, -12, -14, -16, -18, -20. So I have the point -0. -20. There's something wrong with my vertex. So let me plug this in to my calculator. So if I have -0.5 parenthesis and I'm squaring it and I'm subtracting 0.5, subtracting 20. Oh, this is -20.25. This should be a -20.25. Yeah, that didn't make sense. So this should be here. And this should be here. Right? Okay, so then like so. Okay. Next, key features without graphing. So x equals negative 24, negative 24 for 4 times 2. I did all that backwards. So that's 24 over 8, which would be 3. So x equals 3. Did not give enough space for this. Then if I plugged that in, x of 3 is equal to 4 times 3 squared minus 24 times 3 minus 2. And I'm just going to plug that into my calculator. 4 times 9 minus 24 times 3 minus 2 and get negative 38. So 3, negative 38. Y-intercept, if I plugged in 0, I would get negative 2. The zeros. 0 equals 4x squared minus 24x minus 2. I'm going to divide everything by 2, and I get a 2x squared minus 12x minus 1. Do the quadratic formula. 12 plus or minus the square root of negative 12 squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 1 all over 2 times 2. I would get 12 plus or minus the square root of 144 plus 8 all over 4. Okay, so I get x equals 12 plus or minus the square root of 152 over 4. This is 4 times 38. So that's going to be x equals 12 plus or minus 2 radical 38 over 4. If I simplify that, I can take out of 2. So that's going to get me 6 plus or minus the square root of 38. And that is over 2 times 2. These cancel. So the answer would be 6 plus or minus the square root of 38 all over 2. Okay, this one. Oh, they're the exact same problem. I forgot to change it. Oopsie daisy. Okay, so this one I'm transforming it. So all I'm doing is changing my y values and multiplying them by negative 4. So if I have this x, y, and I have negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. This would be 9, 4, 1, 0, 4. Oh, what am I doing? 1, 4, 9. This is telling me that I'm multiplying by negative 4. So negative 36, negative 16, negative 4, 0, negative 4, negative 16, and negative 36. Okay? So I'm starting out at 0, 0, and I'm going to negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then negative 16 would be down here. So this, oh, that was horrible. That's absolutely horrible. Oh, didn't this say without graphing? I did it with, whatever, I can't even do this. Why am I having such a hard time with this? Whatever. Okay, this is supposed to be, oh, this is parent graphs, that's why. And this one, all I'm doing is moving it to the right 3 times. So 1, 2, 3, and we go here and here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and there we have it. Ugh. Sometimes I like this and sometimes I don't. Oh, is it because I have this off? Oh, it's because I have it off, that's why. So this is right here, and this is right here. There we go. Much better. Okay, this one, write a quadratic function. Okay, so that is -2, 1, 2, -3. Its zeros are 0, nope. How about 1, 0, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -5, 0. So y equals a, x minus 1, x plus 5. So I replace my y value with -3. What am I doing? I replace my x value with -2. So that'll get me -3 equals a times -3 times 3. So -3 equals -9a. So I divide by -9, and I will get 1/3 is equal to a. So y equals 1/3 x minus 1, x plus 5. If you want it in standard form, I would multiply that out, and I would get x squared plus 4x minus 5, and then multiply that 1/3 through. And there we have it. Okay, so the next one says solve by completing the square. So I am going to take half of this and square it, so that would get me 3 squared. So I am going to add 3 to both sides. No, I'm not. I'm going to add 9 to both sides. I'm going to get x plus 3 all squared equals 16. I'm going to take the square root of both sides and get plus or minus 4. I am going to subtract 3 from both sides and get x equals 1 and -7. Over here, I'm going to subtract my 27 from both sides. I'm going to get x squared minus 20x plus blank equals -19 plus blank. -10 divided by 2 all squared gets me -5 all squared, which is 25. So this would be x minus 5 all squared equals 6. Take the square root of both sides and get x minus 5 equals plus or minus the square root of 6. Add 5 to both sides and get 5 plus or minus the square root of 6. Okay, this one, write in vertex form. Okay, so I have to subtract the 6 over, and I get y minus 6 equals 2x squared plus 4x. Can't have a 2 right here, so I have to divide everything by 2. So I get y over 2 minus 3 equals, oh, I should have left myself space, plus blank. Then I'm going to get equals x squared plus 2x plus blank. I take half of the middle term and square it, so that will get me 1 squared, so I'm adding 1 to both sides. So I get y over 2 minus 2 equals x plus 1 all squared. And then, oops, sorry, add 2 to both sides and get x plus 1 all squared plus 2. Then I don't like that division of 2. So y equals 2 parenthesis x plus 1 all squared plus 4, because I multiplied everything by 2. Okay, over here. So I have y, oh, and subtract 5. Y minus 5 equals negative x squared minus 4x. Well, I'm going to divide everything by a negative 1. I'm going to get negative y plus 5 equals, oops, again I need to leave space, x squared plus 4x plus blank. So I'm going to take 4 divided by 2 all squared equals 2 squared, which is 4. So I have negative y plus 9 equals x plus 2 all squared. I'm going to subtract the 9 to the other side. I'm going to get negative y equals x plus 2 all squared minus 9. Again, I don't want this negative over here, so I divide. Get y equals negative times x plus 2 all squared plus 9. Okay, down here, find the discriminant. That's just b squared minus 4ac. So 5 squared minus 4 times 2 times 7. That is 25 minus 8, 56. I just want to make sure. 56, 25. Really? 56 minus 25. Yes, negative 31, so no real solutions. This one, I have to subtract the 25 over. I get 5x squared minus 12x minus 25 equals 0. So, negative 12 all squared minus 4 times 5 times negative 25, 144 plus 500. Is that right? So that's going to get me 644. So that means 2 real solutions. This one, add the 90x to both sides. I'm going to get 81x squared plus 90x plus 25 equals 0. So 90 squared minus 4 times 81 times 25. 81 minus 81 times 4 times 25. Oh, look at that. So 0. So there's one real solution. Okay. Solving using the quadratic formula. So I subtract 7 from both sides. I get x squared plus 6x minus 7 equals 0. So x equals negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 6 squared minus 4ac all over 2a. X equals negative 6 plus or minus the square root 36 plus 28 all over 2. X equals negative 6 plus or minus the square root of, that's a 4, 5, 64 over 2. So x equals negative 6 plus or minus 8 over 2. So x equals 2 over 2 and negative 14 over 2. So x equals 1 and negative 7.